If you look at the trajectory of the issues in NDC, you understand that one, the party is young, and it will definitely have course correcting issues, like things that will come up, and you will course correct in that regard. And but there are also a manufactured problem that is also occurring within the party. But there are things that stands out in the NDC. NDC is built on the idea of service, and it's one of the few parties in Nigeria that is building an institution, not a special purpose vehicle for anybody. It's building an institution. And all of the crises that we have had, or that that have come up, the reason why most of them have been dealt with is because the party is building institutions, things that can outlive somebody, that can outlive even a person.
What are the
And
major things that have come up and have been dealt with?
I mean, if you look at firstly, the court cases, for example, and to show you how organized and structured the party is, that most of the issues that have been thrown at us have been dealt with decisively using the laws of the land. Not I'm twisting anybody and all of that. And even the recent one that came up, every person, even the blind, can see that it was an orchestration, but we didn't respond through blackmail or anything. We responded the following Monday through the laws of the land. So NDC believes in Nigeria at first. We believe in the laws of the country. We believe that Nigeria deserves better, but that cannot come with selfishness. It comes with selflessness and service. And it is embodied in the kind of candidates that are filling up positions, starting from our presidential candidate, His Excellency Peter Obi, the selflessness, to the vice president. So it is embodied not just on paper, but in the kind of people that are passing through the process of becoming candidates in the NDC.
Well, the type of people that are passing through the process I mentioned. In fact, looking at Peter Obi, he was given the presidential ticket alongside Kwankwaso, right? And the number of his loyalists that came to the party with him, I mean, you can also say you're part of that number, like Aisha Yusufu, Randy Peters. But unfortunately, they weren't given a ticket. How does that compare to, is that a form of affront that we use Peter Obi to get the name to really push this party, and then his loyalists are sidelined?
You use the word given. That the whole electoral process is actually a contest, right? And there are laid down criteria on how this thing happens, right? Nobody is given anything. The reason why we're running is because we need to battle for the soul of the nation. So they were not. There are issues, right, that came up during the primaries and all of that, but they were not outrightly disenfranchised. There are issues that came up, issues of suitability, issues of capacity, issues like that. Many deciding factor that goes into selecting a candidate. Politics is local, like I said. They are in my constituency, for example. If you want to give someone put someone on the ballot, you have to ensure that he's from the right zone, that he understands the terrain. Probably I've visited the 21 council wards, understand how politics is played in that place. And that person commands the local respect that can win elections. So there are different things that goes into putting someone on the ballot. It's not just because you came with someone, but there are loyalists that came with His Excellency, and quite well so. Most of them are also, looking forward of ensuring that he becomes the president of this country, not just making sure that they jump on the wagon ball. So there are many internal issues, conversations that have happened. Of course, on social media, people take things at face value, but are things that lead to a certain decision of certain people being on the ballot. And most of those things were considered in the process of the NDC primary election or the consensus process that led to people, becoming the candidates in their constituencies.
Well, that's interesting to note that across board, none of these candidates were were up to the standard, like you mentioned.
No. I think that's a very sweeping statement. I will say that at the moment, we actually do not have from any states, confirmed candidates of the NDC, any list published publicly. There are nominations forms that have been given at cross-board, and when the names are uploaded, which is currently ongoing as we speak, in August, INEC will officially publish the names of the people that have been nominated by the party to run on its platform. Then we can make clear justifications of how many P2B loyalists bought the expression of interest form and how many of them made it to the ballot. If we make that comparison using numbers, we can then say, okay, none of them made it to the ballot. But you are talking about prominent people. There are also silent people that came across board from different regions in the nation that will make it to the ballot. So we can't make that kind of assumptions at the moment.
Well, I would look forward to that, in fact, and it's important that we have these conversations because we want to know, okay, what exactly is being put on the table. You mentioned a list. There have been reports of a fake list that was being uploaded where your party chairman had to come and clarify that, okay, this is a fake list. How do we have such information? Would you say that's like a sabotage or what exactly is going on there?
Lists. Even the APC have lists. I mean, the people have been, doing all sort of things. But there's a due process, right? No political party have officially published any list. In fact, the INEC would do that in August. But what we're doing now is going through the process, uploading those names to the INEC portal. And it's a very tedious process. Imagine the entire nation, having 1,000, 2,000 candidates, and you have to do that, a very systematic way of uploading that. It takes time. And when they do that, there'll be verification. There will still also be rooms for replacements in case of eventualities that will happen along the way. But this is the entire, democratic process, political process that leads to an election, and it's usually not very convenient. I must say, it's difficult, even for the people participating, because it takes a lot of conversations, a lot of agreement and disagreement, of course. And in every family, in every process, you will have that, and your ability to negotiate yourself to the table sometimes, and not just being given, is also very, very important.